breath, no heartbeat, just static remains. Hollow reflections, ghosts in the cold. So come burn down my escape. I wanna feel it, come drag me into the void. Let my circuits decay. I'm sorry, but it's too late. You never
What's he gonna say today? Pretty, hold on. He might have an opinion. Oh no! What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Wednesday morning, February 18th. In case you didn't know the date, now you do. You're welcome. Thank you. So I'll be honest with you. This morning, I wasn't sure what I really wanted to play, and I'm still not sure entirely what I really want to play. So I feel like I'm going to kind of do sort of whatever I want. And that's sort of going to be the game plan. I am open to suggestions, by the way, if you'd like me to see or test something. Whatever it is, I don't know, I don't care. I also have a poll going in chat right now. And that is sim racing real or a video game? The answers are, it's real, bro. Or it's pixels on a screen. Vote how you honestly believe it to be. If for you sim racing is super competitive, which I mean it is super competitive, let's not kid ourselves there. But if for you it is the pinnacle of racing and you think it's real, answer honestly. If you think it's just a video game and none of it's real, no matter how hard any of these companies try, well, answer honestly. That's all I ask. What's going on, Mr. Grumps? What's going on, Webtastic? What about GT7? I'm not going to play GT7 simply because I'm on PC. I have a PS5, but I'm just not doing that whole streaming, capturing thing. I just don't feel like doing it. If Gran Turismo 7 or 8 or in general ever comes to PC, then I will put it in my arsenal of things to play on stream. But until then, Gran Turismo 7 remains in my past. Very fun time. Lots of fun on Gran Turismo 7. But that's where that game will remain. I can do ACC. I can do whatever you would like to see. I'll show you my list of installed games at the moment. We have OGAC, which is relatively gutless right now, from a modding standpoint, because I don't have anything installed. ACC, of course. Can't go wrong with ACC. Tried and true GT3 simulator. AC Evo, work in progress. There's some good bones here. I very much liked a couple of the cars I drove yesterday. A lot of the cars, you can tell the balancing, the effort they've put into the cars hasn't been the exact same per update. Some cars are just filled with soul and character. Other cars are nutless wonders. AC Rally, I have AC Rally. I have not played Update 0.2, by the way. I've only played the release version of this game. AMS2, tried and true classic of mine. I absolutely love this game. F125, got my time in F125. It's fun. LMU, I have some time in it. It can be fun if you're into the endurance-y stuff. PMR, loads of fun. And it's only getting better every day, every patch. Comes with a lot of, drama. But that's the nature of a smaller, newer game. Especially one that was, already jaded by past controversies. I wouldn't even call them controversies. Just past people clinging to, ideas and opinions. Then there's Race Room, a comeback game. The comeback kid, if you will. Got a real solid boost. Most recently, their new competitive ranked system is pretty good. Has some of the best driving cars. Rennsport created a lot of hype in the beginning. Has some good gameplay, but they're back to hyping up their next update, and maybe the next update will bring a good amount of content that will make the game, a bit more interesting. And then there's Wreckfest 2, which, for you console players, you're in for a real treat when this thing actually releases, because I'm going to be playing a lot of this on stream, and possibly off stream. It's just, if another sim stresses you out, jump in Wreckfest, you'll leave happy. That's all I'm going to say. And I do like an endurance race. I'm going to try and stay away from endurance races, but if it comes to being like what people really want to see, then I will absolutely do it. I will suffer for your entertainment. I really like LMU for emphasis on safe driving. Speaking of LMU, I'm close to being banned on LMU. All with zero contact with other players. Primarily just sliding off track and learning the physics of the game. I am considered a dangerous driver and close to a ban if I don't improve. So that could always be an interesting stream where... Because here's the thing. It's very easy to reverse that. You drive so far under the limit, you let everybody pass you, you don't qualify, you let everybody who doesn't qualify that might start behind you pass you, and then you just drive it around the track nice and gentle. And you'll be safe for days, and you'll get your safety rating back. But that is not fun. That is also not racing. So I'm going to take the authentic approach, and I'm going to race. And if I get banned because I fly off track, then so be it. That will just create more content. When it's real, you change front brake pads in the rain in a parking lot at Nordschleife. Sitting at home cursing at the screen isn't really that real. Eagles, you bring up a very good point, sir. But you have to understand, too, for some people, sim racing is the Super Bowl. It is their actual Super Bowl. So it's important to not shit on it, but at the same time, I think every person who takes sim racing serious needs to sit down, look in the mirror, and tell themselves that whatever their favorite sim is not real. And the biggest factor that makes it not real is there is zero risk. Zero risk to your body. You cannot get hurt. You cannot die. The most hurt you can get is if a motion rig freaks out. That's about it. And I'll take a motion rig catastrophe any day over a basic accident in real life. Like a traffic accident, let alone a race car accident. I've been flying through the air with nothing around me at over 100 miles an hour. Do not recommend it. Stay in the sim. When I say that sim racing for me is my retirement, I mean it. No matter how angry you might get inside a sim, it ends there. The worst thing you can do is put your foot in your mouth. Looking at you, looking at me. It was nice to read from Rye they are doing okay on console and other stores. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. The game is doing... I don't have exact numbers. It's doing poorly on PC. I think we all can figure that one out. I've been playing... And by poorly on PC, I mean sale on PC. I've been playing it on PC the entire time. My experience is fantastic. I also have it on PS5. While I don't play it religiously on PS5, when I jump in to test things out, it plays really good. I still prefer the PC experience of the game, though. Wreckfest 2 is the only real sim. Real ones know. I'm sure that will be clipped and pulled out of context. Saying hi, and the answer is depending on how good your dealer is. Live and have fun. Cheers. Agreed, Baron. Agreed. I definitely get binned less on LMU, that's for sure. There's no doubt that the safety rating system definitely helped. Didn't fix. It helped the reckless driver syndrome of LMU. But I do think it needs refining, and I think most people agree on that. That it needs some level of refining. Like, for example, hitting someone off track shouldn't be the same penalty as drifting off track by yourself. It should still be a penalty, but it should feel more like there's an actual steward, like a human being behind it, judging the consequences of that action. You know? If I can drive 150 miles an hour directly into someone and smash them off the track intentionally, that should not be the same punishment as I was pushing a little too hard in turn 3 and drifted off the track. But that's what it is at the moment. Which is why I'm taking shots at the whole, I'm in a bannable situation right now. The last time I played LMU with a clean slate, I didn't hit a single person. There was 0 contact all day from players and me. But I slid off track too many times, trying to push, trying to learn the physics of the game. And I got a ban warning. So that's kind of why I've been harping on it. Now, if I had been hitting people off the track, fully justify it. I get it. Webtastic, do you want ACC or PMR? Well, I'm going to be talking and chatting with you guys the whole time. So, for me, this is much more of a casual single-player stream. And by single-player, I mean I'm not doing, open lobbies or anything like that. I'm just here to entertain. And probably speak and upset someone at some point. But, you know. We can do some PMR. We can do some PMR. No, there will be no joining Webtastic. Not today. That's not our. That's an evening stream. When it comes to my daytime streams, unless I am really, really bored or really, really in the mood for some level of open lobby style racing or custom lobby, whatever you want to call it. I usually don't do those during the day. I usually save those for the evening streams. Those are a bit more casual and laid back. I think all streaming is casual, but still. Also on poll, if you're new, we have 20 votes in. We have 25% say real, and we have 75% that say it's pixels on a screen. So for quick math, that's 5 votes real, 15 votes pixels on a screen. Also, like the stream if you don't mind. Not that I'm telling you what to do. You know what? Let's test out the AI. Something I really haven't done a whole lot of in this particular update. We'll jump into GT3. We'll do one lap on Nords. Let's see. Where do we want to set the AI? I'll leave that up to you guys. Do we want to try 50%, 75%, 100%? Entirely leaving it up to you. All of you. I'll start at 75. Yeah, Webtastic, that's an evening stream. 95? All right, I'll back out and reset it to 95. Of course, I'm the only one on track because I didn't set the AI anyway. Do a full grid, 19 cars. Let's see how many I can catch from the back of the pack. All right. If I get bored enough, Webtastic, maybe I'll do some open lobbies, but as of right now, that is not the plan. But I'll need more than one person as well. Alright, so should I run the default car? Or should I change some things around? I think we'll run the default car. Screw it. We're going to run it on mediums too. Scree it. Scree it. To get the line off. Wow. Dive bombing AI right there. Fancy. This AI in this Aston is pretty damn aggressive. I kind of like it, I'm not going to lie. I know a lot of people won't like that, but... So, here's the thing. Everybody has a different opinion on what the AI should be like. And that's normal, that's fine, that's cool. You can't give everybody the exact same thing. Realistically, the game needs a more intuitive AI system, kind of like AMS, where you can individually set certain criteria. Like you can set aggression separate from skill, which is a really nice to have feature. So you can essentially eliminate a lot of like the dive bombing style driving methods without decreasing their overall speed, you know? Me personally, I like the AI to be a little bit more reckless and a little more attempt to overtake, maybe not in the most ideal situations. I like that because when I get online, the AI feels like they're a bunch of artists. They're connoisseurs of drag racing. Now, occasionally you get a good lobby online where people have good etiquette, but for the most part, lobbies tend to be filled with, you know, crazy people who like to crash it. The game looks very good. It looks very good, and it's getting better with every update. I've noticed a lot of things, like I've picked up on a lot of small changes that they don't mention in their patches, you know? Because I believe Rye has even said in the past, too, that a lot of things that they could mention in patches would just be boring from a patch note standpoint, like things people aren't going to care about. I'm a bit more of a nerd on a lot of things like that, where I like to pick up on subtle changes in the game. Most people, especially like if they're on console, wouldn't say, oh boy, drifted wide. Nope. Probably wouldn't see that. But being on PC, I have a little more freedom to kind of do things with it and figure things out. Yeah, the rear view mirror is the virtual mirror is fine to me. The in-car rear view mirror is, honestly, it's 480p. Let's be honest. But like many things, well, I mean, then again, oil slick. I'm also looking at mirrors on PC, not on a console. I like what I'm seeing right now in my my virtual mirror, which you guys can't see because my face isn't here. Do that. The virtual mirror is, it looks like the same resolution as the game itself, but it's missing a lot of the atmosphere type rendering. Like you can clearly see there's a bit of haze and fog in the air in the game. It's not there on the virtual mirror. I do feel like in this update they got a bit more aggressive with shift protection even in the GT3s as well. I'm finding scenarios where I cannot shift the car. Whoop. Did anybody watch the Evo stream yesterday? I realized too, I got off stream and I never really gave my... It wasn't a full review of any kind, but it was what I was able to do in a couple hours. I never really gave it like a conclusion. So maybe I'll jump into that a little bit more today. I will say, I very much enjoyed the Dallara. The new car, the Dallara EXP. That car was a lot of fun to drive. A lot of fun to drive. And I am a very specific kind of person when it comes to what they find enjoyable to drive in a sim. It's a big part of why I'm like not that into GT3s. It's like I said, it's an algorithm on wheels. The F2004 was a boatload of fun. The Dallara EXP was a whole lot of fun. I think the worst part of AC Evo right now is the performance. But I do think the graphics look pretty damn good. And honestly, I thought ACC looked better until I played them back to back. Then I realized ACC does not look nearly as good as AC Evo. So it is an improved game visually, but they gotta rein in the performance. Like, if you guys think that the performance of this game was bad at any point, I can assure you, Evo in its current state is far worse. But I also trust Kunos to get it right in time. So don't take that as me slighting Kunos. I have a lot of faith in Kunos' ability to make a really, really good polished game. But I also know that that probably won't happen by the time full release on PC comes around. Even when the game goes 1.0, it's going to be riddled with problems. But they will eventually get it to a really good state. I did check out multiplayer lobbies in AC Evo. They're cranking. There's a lot going there. A lot of people are playing it, surprisingly. I would have expected ACC to be crushing Evo, but it's much closer than I thought. spread that. Can't even speak. Well, that's the idea of the virtual mirror, though, Oil Slick. Virtual mirrors are supposed to be a very, very weird field of view, so you can see just about everything behind you. It's not supposed to feel like a realistic type mirror. Like in one thing I like about iRacing, you actually can control the field of view of the virtual camera and mirror, and I have it maxed out, so I can see, like, I'm talking like my rear blind spot quarter panel all the way to the other side of my quarter panel, the other blind spot. I can see everything behind me in the virtual mirror. And it's very distorted and very weird looking, but it does what it's supposed to do. Oh yeah, this is a hard track. I'm also not very good in the GT3s. I don't have anywhere near the time in the GT3s. I will get some more time in the GT3s in the future after a few more updates. But I mean, so right now that was a standing start. That was a 6:52 on a standing start. But my average lap time on a not standing start in the GT3, the Mustang GT3 default car, is roughly a 6:45 or so. I've gone 6:41, 6:42 on like those really, really well executed laps, but from a consistent standpoint, it's about a 6:45 out of me, which is nothing special. You were meetings all day, watch tiny bit after, game has great... It does. It does have great potential. Kunos has made 2 fantastic simulators in the past, but they have one thing in common. They're all pretty, I don't want to say bad. They are problematic in the beginning, and they get to a really good point. And in the console racing space, I have noticed that console racers, or console sim racers, I mean, they're used to the Gran Turismos, they're used to the Forzas. While they might have problems on console, they're not like a problematic PC sim, where you get really, really early access to games, you know? So, like, does anybody remember, or did anybody who was on PC play PUBG, or PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds? When it first released in alpha, they didn't call it early access back then either. It was just called alpha, pre-alpha. Because it was like, hey guys, this is where we're at with developing this game. Early access didn't come later until Fortnite. Fortnite was really the first successful early access title that it let itself stay in early access for years because of how successful it was. I think it's the talking. When I talk, my nose itches. In the wintertime, because it's so dry. Let's try another class, same kind of race. Let's dance with the, since I very much like the LMDHs right now. They need work. They're not perfect. They're far from perfect. But I like seeing improvements. And like, one thing I've noticed that people have a bad habit of doing is they see an update to a car and like make this assumption that that's the last update for the car, and now that the devs think that they're perfect. No. If that was the case, we would never get patches. We would never get updates. It's a slow churning engine that gets better and better. This is not the final version of the LMDHs. This is not the final version of the GT3s. I assure you. These cars, I can almost guarantee, the GT3s and the LMDHs specifically, will get updated throughout the entire game's life cycle. Because they're so competitive in real life. Let's load the AI down to 75 for now, since they are super fast in LMDHs. I like driving a spreadsheet. Spreadsheet Simulator is my most played game. Yes, sir. Got an AC at the PMR last night. AC feels so understeery. Just haven't drove it in a while. Yeah, it's I tell people this all the time. You really need to stick to one sim and spend time in it, because when you do what I do and you jump around, the previous sim slows you down in the next one. No two sims have driven the same to me. There's a lot of similarities, like AMS2. Yeah, I can feel a lot of AMS2 in PMR, and a lot of it's being polished out, thankfully, because I do not like the slidiness of AMS2, and most people don't. That being said, though, if I just strictly play AMS2, I can very quickly cleanse my palate and not even recognize it anymore, and just play the game and enjoy it. But if I go from a grippy game where there's not a lot of slide characteristic, or I should say the slidiness feels a bit more authentic because it doesn't feel authentic in AMS2, and then I get in AMS2, I cannot drive those cars. Because I'm used to what the game's telling me for input based off sliding, and I'm sliding that, like, immediately in AMS2, but I'm not losing grip. It's such a weird feeling in AMS2. You have to just play it to understand. To be honest, I wish there was more time in the day, so I had to really get into AMS2. Speaking of which, I kind of want to try out your, since we're here, and I do have it still installed, your modded DB9. It's a fun car. It's an F1 car. It's a DB9 F1. I went 7 flat in a GT3 on this course, but I've only raced it 3 times. That's good, though. That's a very, very good time, especially if you only raced it 3 times. That's good. There's nothing wrong with that. But Peugeot. I bet most patches will get changed with every patch. I agree. But I do think they're going to be really, really focusing on GT3 and LMDH. Where are we at with the poll? 25 votes, 24% say real, 76% say pixels on a screen. All right, okay. Also, if you are watching, don't mind giving me a solid like. I am going to load my Nord setup, though, which is basically max downforce. 1 lap, I'll do softs. 2 laps, I do medium. Yeah, send me the more real version. Oh, shit. Like and lurk here, rip it up. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Xbox One Kenobi. Making waves in the setup scene. Oh boy, that guy's going backwards. I drive much sloppier against the AI. I don't mind hitting the AI, truly. They don't practice etiquette, neither do I. Like that. I can't wait till they eliminate some of the shift protection. I did bring it to them with testing, and there is clearly an RPM dependency in this game that is much more aggressive than just about every other sim. So for reference, both LMU and Race Room have about an 1100 RPM window from the rev limiter down to where you can downshift the car. Meaning, if the rev limiter is at, say, 8,000 RPM, it requires the car to be at 6,900 RPM to be able to downshift. This game, it's almost 2,000 RPM. And that might not seem like a lot, but when it comes to the way the transmission ratios in these cars, the way how tight they are, an extra 800-900 RPM of mandatory slowdown time, or I should say decay, aka RPM drop, can really prevent you from downshifting in scenarios where you need to downshift for engine braking. It's funny too, the advice that I give, that I get ridiculed for like saying that I'm making these cars too easy, is based off sims that people talk about being the benchmark for what these cars should be. It's quite hysterical. People pretend to know these things about me, and they have no idea. They make assumptions, and they just stand on assumptions. You know what they say about assumptions? I literally, like, my go-to, PMR advice-giving LMDH is based off of the LMU cars. But people will say that the LMU cars drive great, these cars drive way too easy, and it's my fault. It's hysterical. Anyway, we're not going down that path. I just wanted to, I just talked myself into that. And I also use Race Room because I like the way they drive in Race Room too. I like the way they drive in AMS2 as well. But AMS2 slide physics kind of get in the way of making it like a proper sort of comparison. Like in Race Room, you can genuinely feel a big difference between understeer and oversteer. In AMS2, you're simultaneously understeering and oversteering. You're just sliding back and forth like you're like sitting on top of a piece of jello or something. It's a very strange feeling. But that being said, regardless of who gives advice, regardless of what anybody thinks, from a business standpoint in selling your game and getting people to play it, if 15 people are playing one type of car, and then you update it, and then 1,500 people are playing it, let's go 150 instead of 1,500. Let's keep the numbers a bit more PMR rational. Wouldn't we say that is an improvement from a game standpoint? We'll get this dang loaded. I'm gonna download Eagle's updated car. This is another great reason to be on PC, guys, and I'm not trying to, like, push the PC thing on you. I'm just speaking about it. The ability to be sent a file to test out a car. I don't have to download an entire game, you know? Eagles can just punch some numbers around behind the scenes and send me a car, and I can just upload it and play it. Let's see, what was I doing? Oh, yeah. Discord. Hello there, Discord. How are you today? All right. Potential dangerous download. Warning. Proceed. Put PMR for a sec. In PMR, it's about 67% of what the RPM engine can do. I can tell you that specifically on the BMW LMDH, it redlines at 8,500 RPM and requires you to be at about 6,900 RPM to actually... wait, no. Sorry, that's the wrong number. 8,500 RPM redline, 6,600 RPM to downshift the car. So if you get to the limiter and then get off the throttle and start coasting, you can just be spamming downshift and nothing will happen until you get to 6,600 RPM. Whereas on the other sims, it's much higher in the revs, which allows you to downshift under more control. The shift protection in this game is very, very aggressive. Documents. No, do not replace it. So I'm gonna have to label it differently, I guess. All right, let's rename this file so I don't replace the old car. All right, let's fire it back up. Well, dang. I guess I'll do that then. I'm going to have to close the game. Well, if that's the case, we'll test out the original car first. And then we'll try your revised version. We'll do this in order. Right. Moved it out. Load the game back up. Testing 4th and 5th gear today too. Nope. Said all I need to say about that. I've also learned too that my Simagic, there's a couple bugs, a couple gremlins with Simagic in this game. For one, I can't calibrate my pedals, but yet I can still go 100% throttle. It's very strange, and it still works linearly. But if you look at the actual input indicator, like is your wheel, your brake, all that, my pedals don't do anything on screen. So that could also possibly be why I don't have the problem that people keep talking about. I've thought this entire time I've been playing this game, throttle input is very linear. Where I put my foot is what the car does. But I keep being told I'm wrong, so I'll just mind my own business, I guess. Alright, here we go. So let's take this car down Nords with nobody on it. Y'all want to see ridiculous? Grumps, I'm primarily testing, but if enough time goes by and I get bored, I'm jumping through a bunch of things. Just kind of dicking around, essentially. Tonight, I'm going to definitely do some open lobbies again, because we're back on our Wednesday night. I am working on my first podcast back at doing podcasts next Wednesday, So depending on how long podcasts go, may determine if Wednesday nights are just going to be primarily a podcast-only night. Next week's podcast is going to be... I brought him up already. I've just delayed actually getting him on. But his a buddy of mine who just broke... Well, not just broke. This past season broke the half-mile world record per mile per hour. So if you had to guess what the half-mile motorcycle, like actual motorcycle, not like some weird land speed two-wheel, because obviously every record has its own sort of like classification. Like you're not going to put a Ford GT in the same category as a Land Rocket, you know? But anyway, he broke the half-mile mile per hour record on a motorcycle. Still looks like a motorcycle. If you had to guess what that mile per hour is, what do you think it would be? Half mile, 2,640 feet. And it would go faster if you could put power down faster. That's always the biggest problem with... And then this isn't just specifically to them. This is motorcycles in general. You can't put power down fast enough. You're dealing with, you know, damn near 800 horsepower on something that weighs, you know, 500 pounds. And that's a heavy bike because it's got a bunch of added ballast weight to keep it on the ground. Like for reference, my Busa is 375 pounds. His is 500. His is way faster. God. I forgot how much I underdrive this car. It turns in. I forgot I gotta get used to that too. Oh! This is exactly how I would drive an F1 car on this track. I just can't get my brain wrapped around the fact that I'm not in an F1 car. Exactly, Eagles. Exactly. What would be your guess as to what he went in the half mile? Whoa! I saved it, though. And my motorcycles always have a tendency of mile per houring less than cars, purely based off aero. The faster you go, the more the car becomes the advantage. Oh my god. It's such a weird car to drive because it's like, it's so much faster, accelerating, and it's so much more gripped up that when you start to get comfortable, that's what happens. But it's so fast. Cooking the shit out of the tires, though. Oh, come on, you bitch. Modded cars are fun. might have to run this car in the winter on a cloudy day because the tires are getting hot just going straight. Like hot, hot. 250 degrees is not cool. I can tell you my own personal experience, if I ever had a tire that was at 250 degrees, woo! I'd be spinning in 6th gear. I'd be leaving a black mark on the road at over 200 miles an hour. Insane. Oh my god. Whoa, 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 whoa! I thought the tires cool back down. It's so weird how they do that. Watch the front tire temps. I know it's a modded car and stuff, but like... So right now, the tires came right back down to like 150 degrees. Watch as soon as I start rolling. 230 degrees, the front tires. Oh, my hands are going to appear now. Yep, there's the fake hands. Not the best use of aero? Exactly. Hold on, hold on. Now again, this is a modded car. But I just want to ask everybody, since we're all on this whole hype train of real versus not real. My front tires right now, 170 degrees. They're the front tires in a rear-wheel drive car. As soon as I get moving, they go over 200, although it didn't quite right there. Just to prove me wrong. Before they were hitting 230, as you saw. See what I do in the back straight, I'm curious. My God, the straight line force feedback right now is wild. So we're doing 186. I can't get over how much the force feedback's kicking right now. Did you modify the force feedback as well, Eagles, or is that just a side effect of the things you've changed? I need to take a break from that. I'm actually sweating. Your force feedback settings in the setup? Got it, got it. Let me look at what they are, out of curiosity. We jump back in quick. It's a hard car to hold on to with the force feedback settings you have. But if you build... See, that's the thing, and this is why I tell people all the time. Eagles, what are you using for a wheelbase again? Primarily what, like, Newton meter? So you have actually less strength than stock, but the load boost is up. You have a bit more in the mid and the highs. So for the sake of... Moza R9, but it's only set at 5 to 6 Newton meters. Got it, got it. Yeah, because I'm on my Alpha EVO Pro, which is 18, and I'm using 100% of it. Both in the Simagic software and the gain in this game. So this I know will make it a bit easier to drive. Put these back to 1. Let's see if that just changes in general. Go hard tires too, try and keep them cooler. I don't know if that's going to ruin the car or not, but... Yeah, it's much more quieted down. Out of curiosity, Eagles, if I set a race up with this car, would the game automatically use the modded cars as the AI, or would it just default AI to the pre-programmed car? And these tires are still getting insanely hot. I mean, it doesn't really matter because the car has so much grip, you don't feel... The temperature's kind of like just there. Wild. This feels like I'm driving a car in fast forward. And it's not just from the straight line speed, I mean like the entire handling characteristics. It just feels fast forwarded. Well, let's try that out. Let's try that out. Let's jump in with the AI. Let's go 100% AI, max car grid. Let's also, let's see, exit without saving. Oh, I didn't want to do that, but let's go winter hot. I like winter hot personally on the Nordschleife. All right, so 19 cars, 100% AI, race, good. All right, let's see how I can catch cars here. If I can. They might be insanely fast for me. I guess I didn't turn the cars on. Thought I just did, but I guess not. Okay. Oh, they're on 75 still. Alright, now let's try. One thing that you guys also might not realize that you should appreciate is the overall load times of PMR. Like, I'm a big AMS2 fan, a big race room fan, and I'll reference iRacing even though I'm not a big fan, but I understand the game in terms of its people's love for it. All three of them take an eternity to load. Everything. So... Whoa, hello. I don't care. Get out of my way. Son of a bitch! I'm still gonna catch him. Yep, they all do. PMR loads very fast, and it's something that, like, oh boy, I think the car's jacked up now. They're actually braking good, but their braking time is terrible. Like, look at this. Like, I just outbrake the shit out of them by just not braking. They brake way too soon. It really looks like I'm playing this in fast forward right now. Ah. I'm pretty confident I can get to first place right now. Inside of one lap. And that was with the spin out. The straights here, that's where they exhibit their actual speed. But in the actual turning, well, that's where they struggle. Sorry, buddy. You were just too slow. Remember when you couldn't do that in PMR? You would just bounce off of them? Pepperidge Farms remembers. Oh! I don't care. I'm going to crash him if I have to. Son of a bitch. That's what I get. Oh, we're back. We're back. We're back. We're back. Nope, we're not back. We're not back. All right. All right. You get the idea. Yes, I'll be doing lobbies tonight, bro. Oh, what's the best braking zone in your opinion? Just overall, not car specific. Oh, Jesus. That's I have no idea because that matters on the track, matters on the car. LMDH is on Monza from 170 to 150 meters in the chicanes is a good starting point. All right, let's try his new version of this car, where it's a little less F1-y. The sweepers are really about finding a line and then maintaining enough throttle to not understeer yourself off the track. Chicanes are usually more about braking timing. Slow in, fast out. But I am by no means a good enough driver, in my opinion, to be giving any level of real advice. Alright, let's try this car again. This is the remodified one. Let's get the AI off the track now. Sweepers are my kryptonite, to be fair. Like, that's what hurts me the most on Spa. The long sweepers. That's what hurts me the most on Zolder. Nordschleife is the only track that I like. I've spent real time on and kind of learned. Every other track I'm still very much learning. I mean, I'm still learning Nordschleife as well, but... yeah, these tires are definitely, I gotta do some actual driving now. I like it better already, I'll be honest with you. Yeah, this is a way more enjoyable experience, Eagles. Because it feels more realistic. While the other car is definitely fun, it feels like I'm playing an F1 game, but I'm in a DB9. This feels like a fast-ass DB9. Yeah, I had to lift right there or else I would have oversteered off. Yeah, this is a much better car. Nice job. If you were to ever submit one of the two of these to ModHub, it would be this one, for sure. This drives like just a really, really fast, gripped up version of this car. Whereas the other one... ah, see, I like that. It's weird because this car is a bit more realistic, it's a bit more predictable. The other car, I really can't make any level of prediction on it because it does everything so drawn on a line. Like, it turns in exactly when you turn it in. Rather than, you know, exhibiting any understeer or... like, if you notice, I'm driving this car better. As I say that, I swear to God, my mouth is, like, incredible. I pause. Flip it. But, like, notice how I am driving the car better. Because the car drives like a car. And not something out of, like, Tron. Yeah, this will be a really fun class, because, like, I mean, people really like this class. It's okay to me, but this car is more fun than the actual default car, for sure. Just because it's faster. I like faster cars. I just realized I was on softs. Yeah, Grumps likes the Viper, so I'm sure he'll like whatever you're finished with. The Viper's tough. The only way I've been able to get the Viper around comfortably is by just deflating the tires and maxing out the rear wing, which slows it down incredibly in the straights, but it at least grips up nicely. What are you going to call the class? GT Plus? Is that the plan? ACC's a good time. If you like GT3 stuff. Jesus, this force feedback in the straight's insane. Oh, so much for that lap time. Alright. Reading chat. Crashes every time. Well, speaking of ACC, since you asked, let me jump over to that quick. I'll compare. Fresh comparison. We'll do a solo rip first. My personal favorite is the RCF. Let's see. This here is ACC. How does my wheel look on screen with it like this? It might look strange. How about this view? Yeah, regardless though, Oil Slick, I like driving it. I just like driving it. That's the reality of it. GT Unplugged would be good. Why am I on Monza? I do not want to be on Monza. Even though I saw Monza 57 times in the setup, I just ignored it. Well, if you're around tonight, Ro, I'll be doing my open lobbies. whoa, whoa, stutter. Loading in shaders. It's funny that you mentioned understeer now. Yeah, wicked understeery. I read your comment, Matt. I just, I don't think I read it out loud. I don't remember. I don't know why it's running so bad. Stuttering its ass off right now. I know it's building shaders because that's what a lot of sims do. First time you drive a certain track, or first time you drive a track after, like, say, a driver update or anything like that, it reinstalls shaders on the fly. Something that, like, AAA games do in the starting menu, like Call of Duty, for example. So what do we consider right now the ideal GT3 experience? What sim? What's the best? LMU? Well, I guess we're just going to have to jump in LMU and take a GT3 down the Nordschleife. Oh, wait. After this, we'll jump on a GT3 car and take it down Nords on AC Evo. Yep. Totally missed it. You got to get back in the driving style of ACC. You just got to learn to drive around the understeer. Race Room has understeer too, but I feel like it still feels better than this. I very much like Race Room's driving. It's a shame console players can't experience Race Room. Yeah, the understeer is ridiculous. Just turn the wheel and nothing changes on the tires because it's immediately letting them go and just pushing through them. Nothing. Crazy. Alright. I'm losing interest real quick in that drive. Turn this music down a little bit. Alright, so let's immediately jump over to Race Room. So we'll go, this is how we'll do this order. We'll do ACC. Which we just did. Then we'll go Race Room, which I consider a much better experience. And then we'll go Evo to see if they've learned anything, if they've changed anything, where they're going. Now, they obviously have limited cars, so I can't just pick any GT3 car I want. All right, so let's go with my preferred GT3. This is the game I wish console players could play. That and AMS2, obviously, but this has a much better ranked experience than AMS2. Because it has one. This is Race Room. This game is good. One of my preferred driving experiences. No, this is a PC-only game. Best game nobody's playing? That could be it. Could be Race Room. This plays so much better than ACC. So much better. Better frame rate. Simpler but better visuals. Like the grass clearly is not developed like an ACC, but this isn't Grass Simulator. The clarity is better. Less artifacting. Less aliasing. Hey, look, you can't crash. Reading chat. It's 100% smoother than ACC, without a doubt. Drives better, it's smoother looking. I think the graphics are better. They're not as detailed. Like I said, the grass is flat. It's more of a texture than it is like grass. But I'm not looking at that stuff. I'm looking at the whole picture. You know? Let's jump over to Evo now. Chat gets him again, yep. It's a guarantee. If I look over at chat, I'm going to crash. Guarantee. They say you can't text and drive. Well, I for sure shit can't. Oh, wait, wrong thing. BMW it is. On our GT3. Use the bathroom quick, and I'll take Evo for a rip again. Bastard. Alrighty. Alright, let's see how EVO compares. Oh, I forgot how heavy the force feedback is. Holy moly. Let's go 50%. Let's go curb effects, 20, road effects, 10, 20. See how that feels. We got broken fences again. Notice that? That's been pretty consistent. Our fence is a texture. It's not see-through. I wonder what broke that. Hold on. There's got to be a visual setting that I have going on that's breaking that. It's not going away with a game restart. I don't want that. Oh, it's flickering. Nope. What the hell is causing that? Like distracting. I don't know. I'm just gonna play it. So I'm talking about with like problems with the game. But early access though, so whatever. Cars are broken. Let me go back to pit. I think the driving physics, if we're going to compare this GT3 to ACC's GT3, it drives better. but the force feedback is worse. I think after this, I'll do a couple open lobbies in PMR. How's that sound, folks? The default TC could get a bump or two. I mean, it's a good balance point. It's a little too low for reckless driving, though. Like that. So, on default TC, which is TC3, you cannot power out of corners at full throttle. It does not interfere enough, which is fine, as long as you can turn it up or just drive better. But typically on all the default GT3 TC settings, you can drive pretty poorly, and it will just drive you around. All right, if anybody wants to jump into some lobbies, let's get it on. Let's get it on. So out of 42 votes, is sim racing real or a video game? We have 31% who say real, 69% say pixels on a screen. All right. Worst case, let me check ranked quick. Hey, idiot. Let me just see what's going on with ranked. Wow. There's not a single person registered for a ranked race right now. That's rough. Custom lobby. I gotta make myself an energy drink. I'm getting the yawns out of nowhere. All right, I'm gonna make myself an energy drink while this sits up there. There you go, folks. If you want to join up. Waiting on you, folks. It's 30 of you watching. Surely someone can join. If not, I'm doing a 1v1 against the GT3. Even your toned down version of the DBR9 is 15 seconds faster than around Sebring than the GT3 Acura. Oof. All right, we got 3 GT3s and just me. All right, they're picking up. Drink more G Fuel. Wake the shit up. Someone literally just needs to get in their car. There we go. I love this game. I really do. I can't wait to see this game in a year. I really can't. Like, I hope everything goes well behind the scenes so that the devs get to reap the benefits of making a good game. Because I know the game's going to be good by end of life. I just hope it's a long life. Because it's a lot of fun. It's so easy to focus on, like, what the game doesn't have yet that it should have, and not focus on the fact that it's been technically less than 3 months, and it is vastly improved from what we got. Which, I guess you could make the argument, what would it have been like if they had delayed the game 6 months? Because we're not even halfway there to a 6-month delay, you know? I guess we'll have a better answer of that in 3 months from now. Glad you agreed, Kenobi. It's just fun. And at least the devs I've talked to personally have sort of won me over in the sense of, like, these guys give a shit. So I just hope that the actual devs, the people making the game, the ones responsible for making the game, are given the fair chance to do so. And not video game politics stand in their way. Because she's a lot of fun. That was actually a really slow lap. To the point where I'm a little confused. Because that was like a clean lap. It wasn't by any means a hard push. But typically I sit in like the 6:15 range on a standing start. So that's interesting. I definitely drove it slower, but I didn't drive it 15 seconds slower. So I don't know. That's a weird one. All console players. That's fine. Just, that should show, that right there, guys. This here should show you the ratio. When people say it's dead and they look at Steam numbers. I am the Steam numbers. This is the player base, right here. Exactly, Kenobi. I mean, I'd say their names, but I just don't want to, like... I don't want to put that out there because people are weird. I'd love to give the devs that I talk to, because I don't talk to all of them. There are a good amount of them. I talk to a few of them. And I've had zero bad with them. But I would love to be able to give them the credit publicly, but I just know how weird people are. And I would just rather not put names out there, you know? Because people are very weird. Wish they weren't, but people are weird in very, very, very malicious ways. Let's see. Let's do the Bring of the Sea. 5 Lapperoonie. I'm just making up words right now. You did spend some time early on behind a GT3. What do you mean, AJ? Yeah, I mean, Joe, assuming that's your name, Joe. They are actively paying attention, you know. That's true too, AJ. I got you now. I did spend some time behind the GT3. I forgot about that. So between that, I guess, and driving the car a little easier just to get around the track, that makes sense. People are also, why do they talk to you and not me? Boo-hoo, I'm so offended, even though I'm never active on Discord. Yeah, that's weird. They would talk to anybody. It's just all in the approach, you know? All in the approach. Like, realistically, let's look at like this is just a hypothetical scenario, but like let's look at a Discord server as someone's house, right? Let's picture that analogy right there. Someone's Discord server is their house. If you rang their doorbell and let them answer, and then approach them respectfully, and they invited you in, and then you continued to talk to them respectfully, they're more likely to talk to you. However, if you walked up to their house, kicked their door down, and started demanding answers, do you think they're going to talk to you? Or perhaps maybe kick you out? Just a hypothetical analogy. That's all. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. People might think I get special treatment. I don't. I don't. I truly don't. It just might appear that way. I get what I give. Same with Eagles. You know? Bruno, exactly. Bruno's in there going nuts, helping people out. You know? I do think they need to be... I think their communication is next level. I think they have the best communication of any devs that I've personally seen. I do, however, think from a general sort of advertising standpoint that some of their, like, Instagram posts and their advertising style posts need to be a little bit more informative from a wording standpoint. You know? Like, you know how they announce, like, when their servers are going down? Just every once in a while, a post saying, hey, we're behind the scenes, you know, working on this, blah, blah, blah. Just a little, because, like, people need their hands held. That's that humanity in general when it comes to things that are, trust me, I am on both sides of the fence here, which is why I have somewhat of a decent understanding of the consumer side and their side, is because I'm self-employed. I am a consumer, but I'm also the guy who is doing the serving. And I am the mechanic, the CEO, the publicist, the marketing team. I am everything. I'm one person. So I understand everybody's sort of point of view here, you know? If I was a dev, I wouldn't talk to anyone. That's the reality of most devs. Because they don't have to. None of the devs actually have to talk to the consumers. Period. They do it because they want to. Because they give a shit about this game. Anyway. Let's not go down too far down that path. Let's put some soft tires on and do some racing. Oh, I know, Joe. I know. But I can already tell you that they're gonna, like any other update, it's gonna be divided. If you make a car harder, some people will like it, some people will hate it. If you make the car easier, some people will hate it, some people will like it. There's no pleasing everybody. So, damned if you do, damned if you don't. Let him take that. Hoggy's got the launch down for the GT3s, doesn't he? I mean, the LMDH has kind of sucked to launch, but either way, he's out. He's out by comparison to everybody else. Good job, Hoggy. I'll wait till a comfortable straight to get in front of him. Well, Fue, that, I mean, I say it a lot, but I'll say it again. When you make something for everyone, regardless of what it is, video game, book, movie, anything, if you make something for everyone with a goal to target everyone, you will essentially make something for nobody. Because humanity in general, everybody is so different. If you try and please everybody, you're not going to please anybody. That's why I say know your audience. The success of this car in the last update, even though some will say it's terrible, is an example of knowing your audience. You're going to piss off 10 die-hard sim racers who want the most challenging Souls-like experience to please hundreds of potentially thousands of people by doing it this way. So what's the right way to do things, you know? I think the weakest thing about LMDH right now is the force feedback. It's there, it works, you can drive the car, it's not like it's terrible by any means. It's just not super detailed. It was more detailed in the previous update, but the problem was there was severe oscillations happening that were making the cars sort of terrible to drive without turning down the lows and the mids in force feedback. Then you can get the car to feel decent, but still numb. Whereas now, it feels decent, but numb by default. So they got rid of the problem, but they haven't fully made it better. Like right now, LMU's force feedback, except for low speed turning, I say except for low speed turning because it's really bad right there. But when you're like doing what I'm doing right now, the force feedback in LMU on the LMDHs is really good. But if you ever slow down, like in say Monza in the first chicane in Monza feels terrible on the LMDHs in LMU. And, you know, it goes, like, both ways in terms of, like, you can't please anybody, and, damned if you do, damned if you don't. Because there are some people, for example, you're only seeing a few of them now, but there will be more, that are going to just pick if they like me or if they do not like me, and nothing I can do will change that. For some people, I will just be their enemy. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. That's how people are. That's the tribalism type mentality that I talk about a lot with people. Some people will have a clearer, more critical thinking mindset and can, like, not like someone, then like someone based off, like, conversations and, you know, growing as a person or whatever. And then some people, that will never happen. And that's fine for both accounts. But if anybody wants my opinions to stop, that's not going to happen. I would never expect someone to not have an opinion on something. I'm going to say what I'm going to say, and other people are going to say what they're going to say, and that's the world. Nothing wrong with that. One thing on this channel, I will say, is that I encourage disagreement. A disagreement, not childish disagreement. So no, like, name calling or stupid shit like that. But if you have a difference of opinion, air it out. Don't hold on to that shit and talk about it behind the scenes. Horse's mouth. If you disagree on something, talk about it. I encourage that shit. Hell, half of my motorcycle podcasts were people who disagreed having them on air. It's always funny to see the tone shift, too. The way people talk behind the scenes versus when they're talking when someone's directly listening. Very, very different delivery of the information. I am going to do a full review on this game. I got to figure out the proper way to go about it, because I have not figured out a way to properly review, like thoroughly review a game inside of an hour. Like clipped up video and everything, man, that's just not easy to do. I'm gonna have to write like a spreadsheet on talking points and film it in segments. It's just a question of if I release the update, or the review as one video or multiple videos. I feel like there definitely needs to be like a long, detailed review. Even if nobody watches it, there'll at least be one out there as a reference point. And yes, it'll be based off of my opinion, which seems 50-50 on if people value it or not, which is fine again. But at least there will be an honest, even if it's considered wrong, an honest opinion piece out there that isn't driven through bias. I would like to see more people start doing that about everything. Like AC Evo. AC Evo is problematic. I really like driving that Dallara, though. That was awesome. As soon as I got in that car, I was like, yup, found my reason to play AC Evo. $153.9. Not bad. Not bad. I actually have no idea how fast I should go in a hybrid on Sebring. Shamrock nipping at my heels, though. AC Evo 5.1 coming tomorrow. What, can you send a link to the details of it? I'm curious what fixes there are. For me, it's got to be performance. GG, Samrock. Good driving. Good driving. Man, we got a lot of DQs, huh? Wonder what happened to Hoggy. He was out in the first lap. My setup is basically default Shamrock, but it's, I just ran it on softs and max rear wing. That's it. On tracks like Daytona or Spa, I'll run default on actual default setup, because the rear wing costs you mile per hour. But as far as what I ran right there, that was literally the default car with softs and max rear wing downforce. Just because you can really lose the rear end on Sebring quite easily because of the bumps and the hairpin turns. So just a little bit extra downforce. It does suck because realistically, if I was a better driver, I could probably pull some downforce out of it and overall just go faster. You know, I don't recommend max downforce. I recommend it for someone who just, like me, can be not the smoothest driver and lose the rear end of the car. So on a track like that, I recommend it. I haven't found too much reason, though, I will say, to go between mediums and softs yet in this car. Because my lap times are... They're faster on mediums than the softs, but it's not because of the tires. It's just because of circumstance where I've gone faster on the mediums, but I haven't noticed any real driving characteristics difference on them yet. I'm also not good enough of a driver to maximize each tire individually. Let's see. Where do we want to go now? You know, let's do some panorama. Whoa, where'd everybody go? I lost them all. I do wish more people provided constructive feedback, Foy. In YouTube videos, I mean. You know, I see it a lot here and there on, like, say, maybe some live streams or in, like, Discords. Obviously with a mixed bag of, you know. But in general, I wish there were some, I don't know, like the recent video that just came out a couple days ago. You know, clearly that created some controversy, and then my response to it continued to create some controversy, which I stand by what I said. But the reality is that if that video stuck to some level of honest style review, it wouldn't have gone the path that it did. You know? But we all know the end result of that. Because again, in the first 5 or so minutes of that video, I 100% agreed with it. Everything word for word he said, I'm like, yep. All of these are very, very fair criticisms. And he wasn't being like overly aggressive about it, which was like, okay, he's talking about bad things in a like, and sort of a calm, cool, and collected way, and didn't feel like he was very like emotional, you know? So I'm like, all right, we're off to a really good start here. I think this is going to be an honest, real good take. And then we know the rest of it, so. But the point, though, is that, like, see how that was a 20-minute video, and he spent 15 or so minutes going over one issue, which I've heard people say it's an issue. I've heard people say it's not an issue. I mean, I can tell you that this is my perspective. And my opinion of my perspective is this. I have it on PS5, and I have it on PC. Now, with PC, there's a lot... No one's necessarily, like, on PS5, everybody has the same experience. Whether people want to think, if you're using the same hardware, you're getting the same software. Through and through, it's the exact same. You're all on the same PS5, and if you're using the same wheelbase, the rest of it is opinion. That's the only variance. However, on PC, there's a lot of anomalies. But I can tell you that from my experience with my Simagic hardware, and then my Logitech software hardware on my PS5, throttle input feels the same. Now, obviously, I'm not using the exact same throttle mechanically. But, like, I play all the same games. Every single sim, and at no point have I gone, man, the throttle feels really bad on this game. Now, is it possible that the throttle is softer and I just don't really pick up on it? Yes, that's quite possible. But of all the things in the game that need to be addressed as problems, I have never thought, man, the throttle feels terrible in this game. I've never thought that. That is just my opinion again. That's the important part that people need to realize. That is my opinion. Based off of my own experience. And I only form my opinions based off my experiences. And all of you should do the same too. You should never build your opinion based off of someone else's experience. Build it off of your own. Because if you disagree with someone's direct experience based off someone else's experience, you do not have a foot to stand on. Period. Anyway. I would like to see some honest reviews of the game. That was where I was going with that. That's all. I'm gonna run this on mediums. See what happens. I have to piss really bad. This was a mistake. Oh! We lost the Aston already. What happened? Oh, shit! Tires are too cold. I was fully expecting it to pull back right there, and she just understeered right into the wall. Oh well. Lesson learned. Now my steering's jacked up. I really got to learn Bathurst with this car. And that's what's like so hard to explain to people who don't like speak PC. Now we're using the same hardware, remember that, Fue. You and I are both on Simagic hardware. And I don't know if you noticed, but your pedals don't bind correctly. Like as in, if you look at the meter that should tell you how much throttle and brake you're applying, it shows 0 the whole time. But the game still works. So maybe that's why we're not experiencing it. However, there are a lot of anomalies in computers. And unless you've got some significant time on computers, it's very easy to have an issue you don't understand as an issue, and you think everybody has it. Mediums was not a good idea in winter on Bathurst. They are not getting warm. And that's a big part of why I don't recommend anybody ever buy a pre-built PC. You should always build one. Because the learning you get from building one helps you in the process of just understanding computers. People have a very, very big fear of computers. It's just because it's an unknown for a lot of people. And me personally, I couldn't live without a PC. My wheel is so jacked up right now. I'm gonna tough it out though. Straights kill me right now because I have max downforce. Lose a lot of mile per hour from the wing. Especially when you take turns like that. It's crazy how that turn pulls you in like that. I barely turned the wheel right there for that exact reason. I need to find less than 0.2 of a second to get 159 out of it. And that's not it. That is not it. Blew this run completely. So close to a 159. I'll be curious if I pulled a few clicks out of downforce, how I could drive this car around this track. Because again, we're max wing and the straights kill this car right now. Good runs, boys. Good runs. I gotta take a wee. I gotta say, the top three guys there, nice split. See that right? I mean, provided we're driving similarly and we have similar skills, but provided we're driving similarly, that's three different hybrids, right? Well, technically the Aston's not a hybrid. Three different LMDHs that all ran within 4/10 of a second. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Means the BOPs of the car, which so far I've found the BOPs are pretty well balanced out of the box with the LMDHs. I haven't driven them all yet. Cadillac is still my favorite car. The BMW is my favorite sort of driving style by default. But eventually I would like to switch over to the... These are my top three. The BMW, the Aston Martin, and the Cadillac. Yeah, the Aston, they're slippery. They are slippery. They're a fun car, but like you really gotta on the Aston Martin GT, the DBR9. Jester drives the balls out of that car. And loves it. All right. That track was a workout. Let's see. Do some Zolder. Let's bump up the temperature a little bit. Let's go spring. Actually going to unready us for a second here. Let some people join up if they want. Try the Peugeot. All right, I'll give the Peugeot, the Peugeot. It's a fan favorite, it seems, and apparently it looks like it's coming to Rennsport. I don't know if you guys caught that. If anybody pays attention to the socials of Rennsport, they showed off their they've been slowly showing off cars, but they said something about math and 9x8, and it was clearly the front of the Peugeot. Or Piguat. Yeah. I think I also I'm like, that's the thing. I want all these games to do good. Truly. You know? And I don't know why, like, people have to pick, like, if they want something to do good, then they want the other thing to fail. Why do you want anything to fail? It's just weird. You can want everything to succeed. Every game I play that I've spent money on, I want to succeed. Even if it's just to my own benefit of the game that I paid for is good. But wanting a game you paid for to fail is weird. The tribal gene, exactly. I wish people weren't so tribal. But we are. I want AC Evo to be a success. I worry that it won't be because of the decisions they're making. But it's way too soon to tell. Let's go max rear wing again, just to keep it safe. And I also want to do this with the clutches, just to keep that safe. And then we'll go soft tires. Never driven this car before, so I'm trying to err it on the safer side by making it, well, as grippy and safe to drive, reckless to drive as possible. I was really looking forward for Evo, for it to be like a Gran Turismo 7 meets ACC combined, and they have a love child called AC Evo. But, you know. Pretty good sound. I've already bought their rally game, so. For what it's worth, it's made by different people, not Kunos. Yep, too much. Fair assessment. That's a limit, for sure. This car is a lot more reliant on TC, I notice. I'm basically sitting on TC. That bug is still there. Braking feels good. That was better. Oh! Almost lost that right there. About pinched a nerve saving that. Shoulder did not like that. You have such a small window to save these cars. Feels really good when you do. Oh, this is the part of Zolder I'm really bad at. This S-curve. Terrible at it. If I put the line on, I'm okay. Obviously, I got the line, but without the line, I just misjudge it every time. I'm at that age where it's really hard to learn things. Terrible. It is tough getting old. I'm convinced people intentionally hit braking signs or markers just so I don't have them when I go around the track again. Screw it. That was my last opportunity to go 126. Blew it. Honestly, I have to test the cars at Nord's. Nordschleife is the only place I can confidently say which car I like better. Tracks that I don't know very well, the track is usually the biggest problem, not the car. Not bad. I really, like I said, I really got to take it down Nords. So I went 127.08. I had 3/10 chopped off after the S-curve, but then I blew it later on and lost it. But that 3/10 would have been, you know, a 126.8, 126.7 maybe. Try the Lamborghini next. See how that one feels. It's all relatively pointless, though, just because for me, like I said, though, I really got to take them all down Nords to really tell you which one I like best. Ugh. All right. Let's see. What do I want to do? What do I want to do? Let's try the Lamborghini on what? What do I want to try it on? Let's do Lexington. Why not? Mid Ohio, yeah. F1 Andy, which LMDH is best in PMR? They're actually pretty well balanced in my opinion. I would say pick whichever one suits your driving style best and which one you just enjoy best, you know? I think my driving style prefers the BMW. But it's hard to say. I think I like the Cadillac the best, but I like driving the BMW the most. But the plan is tonight, jump back on at 11 o'clock, not earlier. God, I can't wake up. And do some, or maybe 9 o'clock, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. A good sounding car. Nice of second to clean out third for me. Yeah, I saw that. Oh, shit. I was looking. I glanced over at the relative, and that's all it takes. That's all it takes. Nowhere to pass cleanly. Too small of a track, too fast of a car. I'll take the lap time, though. That's a consolation prize right there. Lamborghini felt really good. Lamborghini felt real good. I like the Lamborghini better. For sure. For sure. I mean, that was, I don't know what my best time on Lexington is, or Mid-Ohio is. 1:15.4, though, is not bad. And there's some areas I can definitely improve on, for sure. But, as you could see on that, based off that last lap, there's nowhere to go to pass safely. Yeah, that was just me figuring out the car and figuring out the track. I could, if I chopped off what? I want to say I chopped off a good 4 to 5 seconds total in 5 laps. So, I mean, I'm sure there's more there. I highly doubt I just found the perfect line inside of one session, you know? It's the biggest thing is you start to trust the car more than anything else. I know I can push in areas that I couldn't push in, or I wasn't sure if I could push in before. Once, that's the great thing about crashing like I did in lap 1. I'll never push that hard if I'm in the front of the pack. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. PC Garbo. Well, I'll let a few people come in, and if we don't come in, then I'm probably gonna start wrapping up. Oh, here's the update for Evo. Update 0.5.1 is coming tomorrow. Free camera is now functional in the paint shop. Showroom and the release build together with the FOV modifier and blah, 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 blah. Yep. F5 resets the camera to default showroom 1. Fixed current lap font exceeding lap time widget. Minor visual fixes for the 0.5 cars. Minor visual fixes for the new 0.5 tracks. Removed duplicated dampers notification and added clearer text for in-car damper and differential adjustments. Fixed lobby page becoming momentarily unresponsive after server selection. Fixed missing tire compound information in the leaderboard for net cars. Fixed invalid BMW M4 GT3 setup. Yada yada. M4 GT3 wet tires selected for wet setup. Fixed for game not starting with missing or corrupted, just blah, blah, blah. Fixed to DRS closed. Fixes to various graphics glitches on NVIDIA Intel hardware. AMD specific issues are still under investigation. In AMD always getting the shaft. Added collider to poles at the Nürburgring car park. Improvement to server list refresh time. Ping management. Fixed stutters in multiplayer sessions when another player joins due to Fmod loading audio banks. BMW N2 and M8 Aero updates. Okay. Well, it's some updates. It's better than nothing, right? So you guys never answered. How fast do you think the motorcycle went at shift sector? Standing half-mile event. What mile per hour do you think the motorcycle achieved? A real motorcycle, not some weird land rocket thing. That was actually disgustingly close, Eagles. Really good guess. Really good guess. I like this Lambo. I like this Lambo. Appreciate the sub, not too shabby. Oh. He had 2 DQs out of the 4. Come on. That's the case. I'll wait for tactical. I want to do some racing. Gotta keep the car from stalling. So you gotta drive like an idiot. The car stalls, forget it. Oh my god. Car's all jacked up now. I think that's gonna do it. I think that's gonna do it. Tactical or tactile strap, thank you for playing. And everybody else who joined in. I'm gonna move on. Eagles, I'll message you when I get off here in a sec. Chat with you about a couple things. But yeah, that's gonna go ahead and do it for me, folks. Fun little day where I kind of didn't know what to do. I woke up this morning going, I really don't know what to do on stream today, so I think I'm just going to do it all. Cool dog, if you understood this track, you wouldn't have made somebody... That's fine. That's normal. That's totally normal. I've got a little bit more time on Donington than a lot of other tracks, and, you know, I like the track, and it's all good. It's all good. But anyway, folks, that's going to do it. I'll be back on tonight in about... 6 to 9 hours. 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is the latest I'll be starting my stream. So just stay tuned for that. We're gonna play some PMR. We're gonna do some open lobbies, and let's get our grind on. Let's get the practice in. Let's have some fun, and let's yeah, have a good time. Anyway, folks, thanks for watching. Thanks for playing. Thanks for subbing and hitting the thumbs up. I am gonna think of a term to call the people who sub, because calling them subs is lame. So I'll think about what that is off stream. Till then, folks, I'll see you tonight. Have a good one.